So some more points about Salesforce. In reality, salespeople hate paperwork. It's almost like the personality type that's successful at sales, which is usually an amiable, expressive type person, just doesn't like sitting around doing paperwork alone at their desk, wherever that may be. This is not a fit. So typically you'll hear salespeople complain, oh, I had to fill out these reports, and I have to, the more reports I have to do, the less sales calls I can make. Basically, they say it takes them off the street, meaning being on the street, running around, doing meetings with clients. They can't do the meetings because of all this paperwork, which is just for the internal people. Who needs this? What a waste of time. And then following up on the earlier point, they also know that the less the management knows about the business and who's in charge of it and who's making the decisions and, et cetera, the more power or leverage the salesperson has over the company, because the company is then dependent on the salesperson, to bring in the business, and salespeople can use that to try to get raises or increases or who knows what. So there's a natural resistance for the salesperson not to put too much detail or just to put the minimum they can get away with into Salesforce, because they know management's going to look at it. Okay. This is digging it. Hold on. Oh man, I dig you. Hold on here. Whoa. I gotta correct this. I meant to say dogging it. I'm gonna actually correct it because that bothers me. Dogging it means it has been known to happen in certain companies, particularly those who are not as well managed as others, that the sales force can be left, pretty loosey-goosey. This is particularly the case if there are good times out there and there's business coming in. Some salespeople will goof off. Whoa, what a shock! Because they're supposed to be out of the office seeing customers, so they're not. Seeing salespeople stay at their desk all day is usually not a healthy sign, that your company is getting out and talking to their customers. And so if salespeople aren't supposed to be in the office, well, why not go take in a movie? I mean, I heard a case, this is a long time ago, of one of the salespeople on a sales team I was working with here in New York, where the particular salesperson was spotted by somebody else in the company washing his car in his driveway, when he was in the middle of the day when he was supposed to be on sales calls. So this is clearly someone who was just kind of taking his guaranteed pay or whatever and, not really putting much into it. So didn't really care much about a long-term future, I guess. But with Salesforce.com, your calls are listed, your calendar's listed, your boss can see where you're supposed to be. It's just harder and your activities tracked again. So in meeting summaries, which, are supposed to be fairly detailed. And if you're not filing those, well, then, you're clearly leaving a track that you're not doing your job. Yeah, as I said, many companies with their salespeople, they give them what's called a sales quota, meaning that the salesperson, based on their territory, based on past business or estimation of future business, they're expected to bring in a certain amount of revenue, and their compensation is based on whether they do that or not. And so, and smart sales managers also not just focus on the revenue in terms of setting quantitative goals for salespeople. They also, again, really want to have the activity level up. So if a salesperson actually makes 3 live calls with their customers and prospects every day, chances are things will happen. Again, and Salesforce, tracks this activity for the management. Also, I think it's important to mention here, this really has nothing in a way to do with Salesforce, but just in general with B2B selling. Most salespeople do not like new business prospecting. They prefer to work on renewing their current business. I made a note here that I actually came up with a whole cold calling presentation that I did, and I used to give it to some of our clients because one of my companies that I worked at, my clients were salespeople, sales managers. It's just comfortable to just deal with the people you already know and kind of snow the management saying, well, that big renewal's coming in, and making them think you're valuable because you're bringing in all this renewal business, but you're not going after any new prospects. Why? Because it's hard. It's, it's digging in new territory, with your pick and your rock hammer, and it involves calling and talking to people that you don't know, trying to get a meeting. It's hard. You get rejection. You get treated as if you're unimportant and completely insignificant in the world. Few people really like new business prospecting, and it's also the case many times that the kind of salesperson who can nurture a piece of business and develop the relationship is not the same personality type as the one who's really good at getting new business. So sometimes they both occur in one person, but not always. So smart B2B marketing people and sales managers will make sure that every salesperson has a new business quota and that that's tracked in Salesforce as well, because ultimately, I think we've said this a few times, and Wunderman made the point when he talked about agencies. If you don't go out and get the new business, you're not going to survive. And so you've got to make sure, and you've got to track it, have goals for new business activity, and keep after it. Okay, and we already talked about the cash flow projection, I think. Yeah, okay. So basically, Salesforce, everything we've been through now in Salesforce captures from salespeople, for the most part, key information for management, for the sales managers and for senior president and the chief financial officer of the company. Salesforce veins and tentacles and tendrils are all throughout the company, and I look at it as a little bit like this, right? A spider web, and maybe what's that in the middle? Is that a spider or a bug? I'm not sure. It might be a bug. I look at it like this too. It's this net that kind of pulls everything together, right? Okay, so this summarizes some of the things we've talked about here today. That you can segment business-to-business customers, clients, by SIC code. You can also do it based on the typical MVC things we looked at, profitability, etc. You can also look for relational or transactional people. We didn't get into that too much, but you can definitely do that. Your book gets into that. We looked at doing 3 segments, very basic segments, in terms of customer value. So you've got high value customers, the 20% that give you 80% of your business, the MVCs. These people get more personal attention, more entertainment, more selling time. You've got the people in the middle, and by the way, you need to defend them very carefully from your competition. You need to, track when their renewal dates are and make sure that you're getting face time with them, that they're happy, and also that your sales force is putting all the information in there in case somebody takes a hike, so you can take over and handle the account without a blip. Then you got middle value customers, sort of the gold customers, where you have some growth that's possible for sure. They really deserve some focus. And then, of course, as we go to lower value customers, the LVCs, the least valuable customers that, you don't really make much of a profit on, you gave them too cheap a price and they complain a lot. You almost wish they'd go away, but you definitely don't want to spend a lot of time and money on them and selling time. You want to try to your animation, more automation. I should say automation. What am I doing? Sometimes I just can't believe it. Wait a minute. kind of interesting because you get to see 1, 2, 3 automation. Yes, I'm going to save all the changes because that's what we do. Okay. Yeah, we talked about this. We talked about it. And by the way, and then you're prospecting, just as with B2C. If a certain industry or size of business is the best kind of business for you, that's who you want to go after when your salespeople are doing prospecting. This was the program that I was proposing for you guys in terms of replacing the current database project and the work with the charities and everything, which you guys did not want to do, mostly because I think it's not a good time to call companies. I'm going to leave this in here in the deck for you to look at. I was going to cut it, but then I thought, well, when you guys are more ready to do your job search, and when companies are ready to get calls from people, I'm going to leave this here as an approach, kind of a process you could adopt, making use of B2B CRM software and LinkedIn to have a methodical, well thought out job search. So there's 2 pages. I'm leaving them here. There's HubSpot.com. You want to look at HubSpot.com. Let's just for the heck fire of it, let's go ahead and go to their site. We went to the Salesforce site. We might as well go here. I think I have a free login. Go to my account, which I haven't done anything with, of course, because welcome back. Thank you. So there's a video for you to learn about HubSpot, which I'm actually going to include. It's a 4.5-minute video. Connect my inbox, test emails. This is where I would go to start to build information about companies and contacts within companies, right? This captures conversations, managing my email from there. I don't know if this is, this isn't too much. This is where I can enter deals. Okay, automation. Let's see what that is. That's a little beyond my. This is where you can maybe do reports from your HubSpot for somebody if you wanted to. So, basically, let's just click companies. So if you were going to enter data on a new company, you get a little form, create company, okay, where it's going to ask me for company domain name, so their website, the name of the company. Then it's going to ask me for industry. It's going to ask me for my name, company owner, what industry are they in, right? Keep track of their phone number. And based on that, I can set up the basic information for a company, kind of a shell of information. Okay, now if I wanted to create a contact, what do? There's some sample contacts, so I could maybe even open this for you guys to look at. Where someone has created this sample contact, I guess is CEO at HubSpot. And here's where someone has entered all this information. His email, phone number, you don't have any of this. Life cycle stage. Is it a lead? Has it got a contract? Okay. Yep. This is, some information about the contact. So, all right. So this gives you, and then he's going to be under the companies, under HubSpot. So this is what's a page on a contact looks like once you filled it in. Okay. I think we're running to the end of our line here a little bit. Let's see if I can go back to the PowerPoint. Maybe see if we can finish up. All right, not a bad way. Here's I'm going to make this as a separate video for you guys, and I'm just going to see if I can finish. And there's LinkedIn, of course, good old LinkedIn, which you'd use, and a little thing about using LinkedIn. I'll put that as a separate video. You can see I'm finishing as fast as I can. Try to make it in 15 minutes. There's what we talked about in terms of B2B. And here's our big heart